He didn't expect that one decision, one moment of courage, would bind his fate to a woman he'd never met, and to a people who believed he now belonged to them. The year was 1876. The sun had just begun to set over the rugged Arizona plains, turning the Colorado River into a ribbon of fire. Luke Harris, a former Union soldier turned wandering cowboy, rode alone with nothing but a worn saddle and memories he wanted to forget. War had robbed him of his home, his family, and his purpose. He drifted like a tumbleweed, here today, gone tomorrow. As he guided his horse down to the riverbank for a drink, a scream cut through the still air. Luke froze. It came again, sharp, desperate, terrified. Without thinking, he launched into a full gallop toward the sound. The water churned violently near the rocks, and there, he saw her. A young woman fighting against the river's ferocious pull, her long black hair whipping wildly as the current dragged her under. Luke threw off his hat and dove in. The water was freezing. The current tried to drag him down too, but he fought with every ounce of strength left in his battle-worn body. His hand caught her wrist, fragile but alive. She struggled, panicked, but Luke held tight, kicking hard until they reached the bank. He collapsed onto the dirt, gasping for breath, the woman trembling beside him. Her eyes, dark, fierce, and filled with fire, locked on his. Before he could speak, shadows emerged from the trees. Apache warriors, bows drawn and arrows aimed at Luke's heart. He lifted his hands slowly. "I'm not your enemy," he managed. The woman gathered enough strength to sit up. She spoke to them rapidly in Apache, pointing at Luke, her voice urgent. The archers hesitated, then lowered their weapons. One stepped forward, a tall warrior with a face carved in stone. "You saved the daughter of our chief," he said stiffly in broken English. "For this, you will come with us." Luke wanted to refuse. He wanted to ride on, leave trouble behind, as he always did. But exhaustion overtook him, his vision dimmed, and darkness swallowed him whole. Luke woke inside a large lodge made of thick hides. A fire warmed the space, and sweet herbs filled the air. The girl he saved knelt beside him, placing a cool cloth on his forehead. "You are awake," she said softly. Her English was much clearer now. She introduced herself, Ayanna. Her name meant, eternal blossom. Luke sat up slowly. "I meant no harm," he said. "I was just passing by." Ayanna smiled gently. "Sometimes destiny passes by too, until we choose to stop it." Before Luke could reply, the lodge flap opened and the tall warrior from earlier entered. He was Chief Taza, Ayanna's father. "You risked your life for my daughter," he said. "Among our people, such bravery demands honor and obligation." Luke frowned. "Obligation?" The chief nodded solemnly. "You saved her life. Now, by sacred law, she belongs to you. And you belong to her." Luke's heart nearly stopped. Marriage, to a stranger, to a culture he knew nothing about. He shook his head. "I didn't save her to own her." Ayanna's eyes dropped to the ground, hurt flickered there. Taza stepped closer, his tone stern. "If you reject this bond, you reject our gift, and our people. There will be no safety for you beyond this river." Luke realized the truth behind those words. The frontier was full of enemies, and a lone cowboy who offended a war chief would not survive long. He took a long breath. "I just need time." The chief nodded once. Time, but not too long. Days turned into weeks. Luke healed, worked with the Apache, shared meals, and learned their ways. He helped the children learn to ride and laughed for the first time in years. Every evening, Ayanna taught him her language by lantern light. She told him stories of their ancestors, their love for the land, and their struggles to survive. Luke found himself listening, truly listening, as if her voice stitched pieces of his broken spirit back together. She wasn't just beautiful, she was brave, curious, playful, and wise beyond her years. But not everyone welcomed him. One Apache warrior, Kelly, glared at him constantly. Kelly had long admired Ayanna and believed he was meant to be her husband. The idea that some wandering stranger now stood in his place filled him with rage. One night, Kelly confronted Luke near the corral. "You do not deserve her," he snarled. Luke tensed. "I didn't ask for any of this." "But you accepted it," Kelly shot back. "And that makes you my rival." He swung his fist. Luke dodged, but Kelly was fast, trained for battle. The fight was fierce but brief. Luke ended up on the ground with a split lip and a bruised jaw. Kelly grabbed his collar. "You will leave," he hissed. "Or you will die here." Ayanna's voice rang out like thunder. "Enough." Kelly released him at once. She helped Luke to his feet, her hands trembling. When they were alone, she finally spoke. "You do not understand," she said. "Our law is not about possession. It is about protection. If a man saves a woman from death, the spirits believe their lives are now tied together. If you leave, I would be dishonored. Cast aside as cursed." Luke stared at her, stunned. He had never meant to hurt her. "Do you want this?" he whispered. Ayanna's voice softened to almost nothing. "I want what the spirits have chosen." Luke's heart pounded, loudly enough he feared she might hear it. In that moment, he realized something. He did want her, not because of a law, not because of duty, but because she had given his life meaning again. The next morning, Luke sought out Chief Taza. "I accept the bond," he said firmly. The chief studied him, searching for doubt, but found none. That night, the Apaches celebrated under a sky overflowing with stars. Drums pounded, flames danced, and Luke and Ayanna stood hand in hand as the tribe blessed their union. For the first time in a long time, he felt at home. But peace is fragile. A group of outlaw settlers, men Luke had once ridden with, attacked the village at dawn, seeking land and domination. Gunfire erupted like thunder. Chaos swallowed the camp. Luke grabbed a rifle and fought beside the warriors he once feared. He saved children from the burning lodges and shielded the wounded with his own body. Kelly, too, fought with fury, side by side with the man he once wanted dead. When the dust cleared, the outlaws were defeated. But Chief Taza lay wounded, blood soaking his chest. Luke dropped to his knees. "Stay with us," he pleaded. The chief's gaze softened. "You are no longer a wanderer," Taza whispered. "You are family. Protect them, my daughter, our people." With a final breath, the chief rejoined the ancestors. Ayanna fell into Luke's arms, tears streaming down her face. And Luke held her, whispering promises he intended never to break. Months passed. Under Luke's guidance, the village rebuilt stronger than before. Even Kelly came to respect him, not as a rival, but as a brother. And at night, when the fire burned low and all was quiet, Luke and Ayanna would sit together beneath the vast, protective sky, two souls who should never have met, but were always destined to. Luke had gone from lost soldier, to a man with purpose. From a life of wandering, to a home bound by sacred love. Sometimes the river pulls you under. Sometimes it brings you exactly where you're meant to be. And Luke knew, as long as he lived, he would honor the bond that destiny had written the day he heard a scream by the water, and chose to follow courage into the unknown.